Even though the Blitzkrieg event is over and the Black Ops 4 reveal event is this upcoming Thursday, there's still plenty of shit that's new in Call of Duty World War II and Black Ops 4 teasers to discuss with the Call of Duty news of the week. As expected, the community was up to the challenge and the Grease Gun Rosie 2 variant was given out to all players, but in a recent hotfix, there were several other weapon tuning updates to include one of the other new weapons for the Blitzkrieg event. The ITRA burst was given a nerf to the fire rate, burst cooldown, and ranged with the advanced rifling attachment, even though this weapon hasn't been available to obtain in any contract since Activision has spelled with a $sign and needs to lock the best weapons behind paywalls. Other weapon tweaks include the Gewehr 43 given a fire rate buff, the BAR getting a slight ADS time nerf considering it's the most overused rifle since the FG42 has been on the back of a milk carton since its nerf way back in December, and as if the pistols aren't ridiculously powerful enough when running the duelist perk, the semi-automatics P08, M1911, and 9mm SAP got buffed for improved accuracy along with the combat shotgun fire rate exploit was patched to not annoy every single person playing on Shipment 1944. Also, instead of trying to balance the weapon in order to upset the 1% of the community that gives a shit about esports, the M1 Garand was added to the restriction list for those competitive rules. Additionally, in those competitive rules only changes, the Gung-Ho ability was removed from the Airborne Division and equipment resupply and regen are removed from the Expeditionary Division, but bullet resupply and regen are still included in those division perks. In that same hotfix from yesterday, the negative token glitch and the Master Prestige level 1000 lag glitch were addressed. Moving on to game modes, domination has been changed from 50 points per kill to 75 points per kill, which is sort of irrelevant now that Blitzkrieg is a basic training to circumvent the idiotic decision to prevent players from having fun in their game. Ground War will also be back on Wednesday for good, but it's unclear if it's going to be both the Mosh Pit and War varieties or just the modes where the score isn't really adjusted enough to compensate for having extra players. I mean, seriously, just make kill confirmed 100 tags, please. You can also do with that for the regular 6v6 game mode too. Oh, and next week the one-shot game mode will be available for TDM and DOM, similar to the same mode from Advanced Warfare. The HQ playlist has been moved to the Party Games tab, but it's not gone altogether because then there wouldn't be any reason to have the HQ still around since you can just get contracts and other beepity bops from the main menu. Lastly, in game mode updates, there is a new throwback Mosh Pit playlist which had been leaked in prior Call of Duty news videos where the basic trainings are replaced with throwback perks like Commando Pro, Danger Close, Double Tap, Juggernaut, Martyrdom, Stopping Power, and Stun ×3. So while everyone reminisces about the good old days, just go into that playlist for one game to see the AIDS that we dealt with back in the day. While we're on the subject of basic trainings, Requisitions has finally been nerfed after complaints from Reddit about it being too chaotic on Shipment, even though Shipment and chaotic are synonyms in the dictionary, go look that up, with shit kids that are going negative calling in ball turret gunners and bombing runs. Even though the Blitzkrieg basic training was added and Ordnance was buffed with a Divisions update, Requisitions is still the most used basic training in the game, which means that this game is absolutely littered with window lickers, especially in Domination, Hardpoint, and Shipment 1944. The nerf increases the cost of the best score streaks while only running this basic training as follows. Emergency airdrop goes from 1800 to 2400, firebombing run from 1950 to 2700, paratroopers from 2400 to 3300, carpet bombing from 2850 to 3850, and the ball turret gunner from 3600 to 4800. There's just one problem with this though. By making Domination now 75 points per kill instead of 50 points per kill, you inherently buff Requisitions because it's now 1.5 times as fast to get all of the score streaks. Yet, the only score streak that was buffed by 1.5 times was the last one, the ball turret gunner. So, essentially, this is actually a Requisitions buff in 2 of the 3 game modes where it's the most annoying. I know that math isn't your strong suit, Sledgehammer Games, but seriously, whose ass did you pull these new numbers out of? I can understand why this basic training is in the game. As someone that doesn't really give a fuck about their KD when I'm PTFOing, I'd like to be able to be rewarded for doing the dirty work instead of camping my dick off like a twat waffle for my score streaks, which actually should be the intention of the Requisitions basic training, not to, quote, provide novice players with a route to earn mid-tier score streaks. That just makes it look like you're coddling fucking bad kids instead of doing what you should be doing, and that's rewarding people who PTFO instead of camp their fucking dick off. Which, by the way, wasn't that your rationale for doing Dom 50 and Dom 75 instead of Dom 100? Have a consistent design philosophy here, for fuck's sake. However, it's not fun being on the receiving end of constant unearned barrages just because there are so many kills to go around in Shipment 1944, as well as having Domination and Hardpoint being inherently longer game modes than others, thus it's more likely to achieve that set of points. The solution, similar to having certain rules for competitive playlists, have different sets of point totals totals for different game modes, or restrict this basic training to not be in certain playlists, and definitely those point totals need to be at least tweaked by 1.5 times as much as the original totals now that you've fucked with the domination math, or I'd go as far as making them twice as costly. Thursday was also the release for the War Machine DLC for both the VCR and the PC, if anyone actually gives a shit about the instant gratification lock behind paywall nonsense. There's also a new Call of Duty World War II Gold Edition available now for $60, which grants you the base game plus only the first DLC, which is normally a $15 add-on. So you'd think, hey, it's selling for $60 instead of $75. That's actually a pretty good deal. But the problem is that with only one of the DLC packs, you'll almost never get into a lobby, since most players either have 0 DLCs or all of the DLCs, which is now at 2 and will later be at 3 and later be at 4, since the second one has been released on all platforms. So actually, yeah, it's a pretty shitty deal, since Call of Duty DLC isn't actually good past the life cycle of the game. Lastly, in shit that normally costs money, you could actually pick up some war bonds in order to earn yourself some COD points. You can earn up to 500 COD points total, but considering that each supply drop costs 200, you'll have that extra 100 CP just being wasted away, which implicitly, psychologically forces someone into buying just that extra 100 for another supply drop, and a slimy way to get money out of your wallet or from your mom's credit card. Now moving on to the game which we know next to absolutely nothing about, Black Ops 4, we actually got 2 pieces of 411. The first of which was this picture of some perks here. They include some wild cards at the top, which seems to back up the previously leaked 10 out of 10 picture regarding the Pick 10 system. The icons themselves seem to resemble Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2 style perks rather than Black Ops 3, and delving further into the individual perks, the latter seems to indicate a fast climbing ability similar to dexterity, but given that there's a ladder involved, that also points to a boots on the ground experience rather than a jetpack game, because why the fuck do you need a ladder if you got a jetpack? But that still aligns with the multiplayer rumors of it being mostly boots on the ground with jetpacks you could earn as streaks. The one underneath that is a boot, which has universally been a symbol of lightweight, which makes someone move faster. In the middle is a reload animation, which could mean sleight of hand. However, in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, attachments, not a perk, was used to speed up reload, so could this mean reloading while moving, aka on the go, or possibly fast hands, but it's showing off a magazine instead of equipment, which fast hands is more known for. Lastly is an image of a hyena, which is mostly characterized by being a scavenger, which is a perk that refills ammo and equipment, but it could also be Stalker. However, again, and similar to what I said about the stock being attachment in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, instead of a perk to speed up aim down sight movement speed, I don't think it's likely to be that. The other teaser is a picture of zombies with the caption, "Mankind's reckoning will be its salvation." Some zombies YouTubers did the obligatory stretch out the video past 10 minutes of analysis to make more ad rolls, or one even doing a 6-fucking-hour live stream devoted to solving this riddle with all the symbols and quotes, where the conclusion was that the person in the teaser is a medieval king with leprosy who wore a mask to hide his boils, and the theory goes that it was brought about via the 115 element and not an actual virus or disease. How this relates to what the zombie story is actually about remains to be seen, but I think it will be as useless as the Snapchat teasers from Black Ops 3. You guys remember those fucking things? Also in zombies is the fact that Treyarch will be hosting a history of zombies at E3 in mid-June, which is actually after the reveal that's coming Thursday, so maybe we'll get some extra info then. Lastly, in Black Ops 4 news, during an Activision investor call, they indicated that this year's Black Ops 4 will, quote, launch in October with more gameplay features and modes that fans will love, end quote. Could this mean that we'll actually have things like, you know, paint shops and theater mode on time in this go-around? Who the fuck knows now that they moved up the release date for a month. Also, that prior quote, combined with the fact that there's a new Fortnite skin with a dog tag containing 4 vertical orange bars in an obvious nod to the upcoming Call of Duty game. Could these two tidbits be hinting at a Battle Royale mode for the upcoming game? In case you missed my video on the subject with gameplay from the current Call of Duty Online Battle Royale mode, link is in the description. Thursday is the reveal for Black Ops 4, and it will be playable at the event in California according to the invites sent to the Call of Duty cocksuckers. I mean, people who aren't actually directly paid by Activision, yet get the access and the benefits of having insider info to make money with their YouTube channels when they put out videos on the insider info that they're given. I'll of course have a parody of that reveal later up on that day, since the reveal itself is at 1 p.m. Eastern, so be ready for it later on that night. I've been The Schwantz27, not like the Toronto Raptors and their coach. Until next time.